Hello makers, this is Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, and all the yarniness goodness in between. I am Lindsay, and I am not coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm coming to you from Iowa today. I am up here visiting my family, and this is the first podcast I've recorded somewhere else, so please forgive the lighting. It's the best I could come up with, so we're going to work with it. As always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as AlwaysYarnFirst. Welcome. This is episode 16, and before we get into it, I always like to mention my make-alongs before we get started. I have two make-alongs going on currently. The first one is the Chevron Your Itch with my friend Lori of ArkansasYarnCo, where we are taking a year and making Chevron blankets. You can make knit, crochet, baby blanket, throw, large blanket. Use the hashtag #TheChevronYourItch on Instagram, or you can go to ArkansasYarnCo's group on Ravelry and enter your project there for chances to win. Also, I'm doing Slash My Stash make-along. This is encouraging you to use your stash. The only criteria is that all the yarn in the project has to be from before this calendar year sitting in your stash. So that I'm doing on Instagram with the hashtag /MyStash2022MAL. Again, knitting, crochet, all good. Or if you don't have Instagram and you want to enter, many are entering on my group page on Ravelry under Always Yarn First, and you'll see that the group for that. So I have all my info down below this if you want to find out about any of the patterns or anything I talk about. I'll also have links to the people I talk about and the stores. So let's get into it. I have 0 finished objects this week. Oh, and before we do, I forgot. See, I'm out of my comfort place, so I'm messing up already. For new viewers, I am a big music lover, and I name every episode after a song that I personally love. So this week, I am naming my episode Long Drive. It's by Jason Mraz, and I will have the link to that song below. If you've never heard it, I highly suggest it. He's, of course, one of my favorites. If you've watched before, you should know that. Just because it's been a long drive back up here to Iowa, especially right after the excitement of the yarn crawl. So now, what am I wearing? I think I've worn this on the podcast before. It is my summer Sorrel. It is by Wool and Pine, and I love this sweater. I used this out of a 5 skein mini set from Pineapple Yarns, so I will link that below. Okay, as I said, I have no finished objects this time, and I've cast on 3 things. So, yeah, cast-on-itis is real. This first one is kind of not really a new cast on. I'm counting it in the same project that I finished last week. And this is the second one of the Faeries Firelight. This is again for my friend Jessa from ArkansasYarnCo, Lori's daughter, who's getting married, and these are going to be jar coverings for her candles for her wedding. Again, I'm sorry about the lighting. So this is the large one. Last episode, I finished the small one, and then I brought along the yarn for me here, and I cast on the large one. So just a lovely pattern. This pattern is by Jenn Sheelen, and I don't have it in a project bag. It pretty much sits on the top of my cart because it's just such a small thing, so it doesn't get lost. A lot of times I'll just throw it in my purse. My daughter has been working on it too here because she brought her cable sweater she's been working on and realized she didn't bring the right needles to pick up all the stitches. And we are nowhere near a yarn store here, so she's been working on this a little bit for something to do because she doesn't have a project. So that's kind of been helping me too. All right. I cast on, if you watch my Instagram, I talked about this. This is in my another By the Bay bag company bag. And I finally cast on a sweater for my husband. So I had promised him that he would receive a sweater by the end of the calendar year. I had previously started a Rebel Alliance sweater, and I knit most of the body, got to the color work, realized it's color work on the knit and the purl side flat, and I noped out. So I picked a different pattern. I'm doing the single Malt sweater by Maxim Sear, and this is just a nice one color sweater. Classic. He wanted just like a classic brown that he could wear a lot, and it's just like a nice texture. So I'm just not far into it. I'm still in my 16-inch needles. I have the ribbing, and I'm just getting into the texture here. So I have not worked on it since I've been in Iowa here, because I'm transitioning to other needles. But once I get home, this will be my 30 minutes a day project. And what that means for me is I'm an early morning person. Most of my energy is first thing. And so I will be picking this up as my first project with my coffee, spending at least 30 minutes, if not more if I feel like it, but at least 30 minutes a day. So that even though this isn't for me and I might feel like it's more boring, I'm dedicating that I will work on it every day for a little bit to constantly make progress. That way I will have no problem finishing this by the end of the year. So that is my first sweater cast on. And then I, the same day, cast on something for me. And this is in a new bag. I will talk more about during acquisitions, but this is a bag that Kelley made me. This is made by Maddie's mom, Kelley, and she doesn't have a shop, but she is selling bags through her Facebook and her Instagram. I have both links below this. She will buy fabric and post them, and you can pick which ones you like, and she'll custom make the bag for you, or she'll just post bags that are available to purchase and you can buy them outright. They are very well made. They are reversible, and again, I'll talk about that in acquisitions, but I bought this fabric. It's BTS. If you don't know who that is, look it up. All right, so this is obviously a garment for me in this BTS bag. And I've realized that we're rounding to the end of July, and there's still a couple legit sweater knits that were on my wish list that I want to make. Now granted, I'm hot-blooded and I will wear these into the fall and winter, even if it means putting a cardigan or something on over it. I don't care, but I wanted to start them in summer. So this is the Streamline Tank by Two of Wands, who is Alexandra Tavel. This is knit flat in two pieces and seamed up. So this is one part of it. So I cast on and I'm making pretty good progress. It's pretty simple, just like a 6-stitch patterning on the sides, and then stockinette front and back. I am using the Universal Yarn Bamboo Pop in the colorway Ocean that I got from ArkansasYarnCo. So this is a real easy one to work on, and I'm actually already at the point now where I think I'm going to be making decreases and doing the shaping up. So it's gone really fast, and I'm really excited to wear that one. So I hope it fits nicely. All right, so that's all my new cast-ons. So what progress have I made? Let's see. So the church shawl. I think this is actually the most progress I've made on this in a long time. I usually always show this one. It's my purse project, so I usually don't get a lot of progress done. But I feel like I have legit made some more progress this time. See where the duck is. So again, this is a bamboo pop. This is a fingering weight. And this is in High Tide color. And I'm just going on this is from the Church Shawl by ArkansasYarnCo. I'm just going till I run out of yarn. So nice, again, perfect for summer, lightweight with the bamboo. So real easy knitting. So yeah, I feel happy that I've made progress on that. And this again is in my another By the Bay bag co. And then my Lace and Fade. So I've made decent progress. Last weekend when I was sitting at ArkansasYarnCo for 2 days, this is mostly what I worked on. But of course, you know, there's lots of visiting going on, stopping, talking, laughing. But I did, let's see, here's my progress keeper right here. So I'm trying to hold it like where the natural seam is to get a better idea. So you can see I was just starting this lace section up here, finished that, finished the next stockinette section, finished another lace section, and I'm in the middle of another stockinette section. So it's going pretty well. It's beautiful and I love it. But again, like I said, since this is a bigger sweater and then you do the long sleeves that are fitted on this, I'm not in a hurry to finish this one. But it is enjoyable to work on and fun to look at. And that is in my Tanneicasey bag. One. All right. Last thing is my Chevron blanket. And I'm at I film with Lori once a month, and we do the yarn box reveal for the Sock Yarn Society box. And at the same time, we show our blankets to see how far we've come. And I try to always get to the newest color from the last box. I'm not there yet, but I almost am. I'm on my border. So I finished with the yellow, which was June's colorway. And my pattern is, I always say it wrong, Chevron Baby Blanket and Throw. It is a free pattern. It's knit. I'm holding fingering weight double, and I'm using the Sock Yarn Society box for my big pops of color and the sparkle base from Lori. And then in the middle, I am doing a border where I do 2 rows of Wedding Cake, the white, 6 rows of Graphite, the gray, and then 2 more rows of Wedding Cake. And last I knew, at the yarn crawl, those 2 colors were in stock in the store. You can't get these other colors unless if they were a subscription color only. But these border colors, which are wonderful, you can get. So you can see I did the Wedding Cake. I'm a couple rows into the Graphite. So I'm hoping to at least finish the border tonight and tomorrow to cast on July's colorway, which I have here. It's kind of like a corally pink with like birthday cake speckles is what I call them, like the teals, the green, orange. It's so good. So have it in my giant NicNacKnits bag. My Chevron bag to match my Chevron project. So my last project, it is a new cast on, technically. But I'm toying with the idea of a shawl design. So I have an idea in my head, but this is my first time designing, so I don't know if this will get completely frogged. But I don't think I'm going to show the shawl because I'm really paranoid about it. But I want to show what I'm using. So I have had these 3 DK skeins from ArkansasYarnCo, of course, all neon colors. And I have them across the room at my desk at home. And I've just been staring at them, and I'm like, they need to go together. And I know not everyone does, but I love DK shawls. I have a lot of shawls. I enjoy making shawls. And I've gone back and looked through all my shawls and noticed the ones that I wear the most often are my DK weight shawls. I have an Andrea Mowry Find Your Fade shawl, and then I have one that I test knit for the Crazy Sock Lady, Guiding Light, which I love. And I love them because I live in the South, I'm hot-blooded, and in the fall when it's just a little cool out, I still don't wear like coats or jackets, but I'll wear a t-shirt and put on or bring a big DK shawl, like kind of as a scarf to start with, but then if I get cold, I can wrap it around my shoulders. And I love them, and the 2 that I have, I love the drape of them. I love how they look. They look great like with jeans on. So that's kind of where I wanted to go. So I'm trying to do a 3-color DK shawl. And it's going well, but I haven't really worked on it this week while I've been here because I feel like that needs a little bit more brain space to be able to, knit some and then frog back and forth. So I did bring it, but I think I'm going to wait till I get home to focus more on that. So once I feel a little more comfortable that I know I have a good start of where I really want to go, then I'll probably show it on the podcast. But for now, I'm going to wait. But it is in my OhWow bag that I got from La Bien-Aimée. You can get this bag still on La Bien-Aimé's website. So, all right, that is all of my knitting. Oh, I did work on my crochet Advent Granny, which is my lap blanket I'm working on, but I did not bring that with me to Iowa. I could only fit so many whips on my cart that I bring with me, and something had to give. So that one I did not bring. All right, so that is all for the knitting, if that is all you are here for. So next I'm going to go into some of my acquisitions. I recorded part of my acquisitions before I left home from my first weekend of the yarn crawl, but I did make one more stop at one more yarn store on the way up to Iowa, northern Arkansas, driving through. So I have acquisitions from there. And then I'm going to talk about top 3 this week about why go to a yarn event, just because of all the good vibes feeling off of that. So let's start with acquisitions. So starting with the last place I stopped on the Arkansas Yarn Crawl, which was new to the Yarn Crawl this year, and it is Unraveled Yarn Boutique. It is in Paragould, Arkansas. I've actually talked about them before because last time I went to Iowa, I visited them on the way home. So this is my second visit to them. And this time I pre-ordered one thing, which are these amazing earrings. Aren't they good? She had some of these in stock, but on her Instagram, she was showing these in different colors and basically saying you could custom pick what color you wanted, and she will make them and even ship them to you. And I said, okay, make these, and then I'm going to pick them up on the yarn crawl. And I love them. And they've inspired my daughter. She wants to kind of tinker with making something like this to see if she can do it. So these are great. And you'll see I had like obviously a color theme when I went in. I pre-ordered these. I didn't get them until I was checking out. But you'll recall I bought my spindle at Unravel and a little bit of kind of practice fiber, which as of last night is all used up. I've been working on that and it's been so much fun. So I bought just another small one to play with. And see what I mean by like yarn color here. And then I bought one skein of yarn. And I know I said that I haven't wanted to buy single skeins because I don't know what to use them for. But I saw this one when I came in. The colors are just so like gentle to the eyes. And you know I love my brights. But this one, I kept walking around the store and then I kept going back to this one. And I'd be like, no, I don't need that. What am I going to make with it? And then I'd go back to it and I'd be like, oh, but I really love it. So this is Ba Yarn, New York. It's 100% superwash merino, 400 yards. And the color is Certain Shades of Green. Which is funny because, I mean, I see green in there. But it doesn't seem like the #1 color in there by any means. I thought that was an interesting name. So squishy. So I'm thinking maybe a hat. I don't know. Nope. Lights are going crazy. So that is my unraveled. So now I will put in a video to show you the rest of what I got the first weekend of the yarn crawl. So before I get into my yarn crawl acquisitions, I have 2 other things to show first. So the first one I had mentioned on my last podcast, I had won off of Instagram some very special yarn, and it came a couple days after I podcast. So I want to talk about that here. This is the yarn I won. This is from Always Be Kind yarn. I won the striped sock yarn, and then I got to pick whatever color mini I want, plus a pattern. So first of all, she also sent her card. And she sent a couple stickers. And I wanted to read straight off her website about this yarn, because this yarn has a very special message. So I'm going to read this right off the website here. So Always Be Kind yarn was inspired by my late daughter, Karin. She battled mental illness for years and died by suicide at the age of 25. Suicide affects too many, and it's easy to ask why, but a better question is what? What can we do to support others, to let others know you care? You can always be kind. And then underneath that, it says that the Rainbows for Karin, that's the name of this colorway, is very special. I designed this yarn and pattern for my daughter, Karin, who loved rainbows. All proceeds from the Rainbows for Karin line and You Matter colorways, along with a portion from all sales, will go to support suicide prevention, awareness, and to support those in need. So I just thought this was super special. And then the free pattern that she gave me was that she did with this, the Rainbows for Karin sock pattern. So I feel like I'm going to just make the pattern she gave me because I feel that they need to all be together. So thank you so much for this. This is super special. So make sure you go check her out, alwaysbekindyarn.com. So the other thing I received non-yarn crawl is, you know, I've showed Kelly's bags that she's been making. Kelley is Maddie's mom, half of the We Share Needles podcast. She has been making bags, and I had asked her if I bought fabric and send it to her if she would make me a bag with it. So you all know I love music, and if you've been here a while, you know I love BTS, which is a K-pop group. And so I bought fabric. This is BTS. If you don't know who they are, this is from one of their videos. And the great thing about Kelley's bags that I've shown before is they're reversible. So I actually bought 2 BTS fabrics. I got these off a Spoonflower website, if you're curious. So here's the other side. Real nice. There it goes. Pink BTS, that's their logo. So she made this for me, and Maddie brought it to me at the crawl, and I love it so much. So thank you so much, Kelley. And of course, I will link her below. She doesn't have a shop. She sells straight off of her Facebook or Instagram, and she just posts pictures and lets you choose which fabrics you want of hers. So check her out. All right, now let's get into the crawl. I'm going to be throwing things in this sack down here as I talk about them. So first of all, here is the yarn crawl bag this year. A nice navy. So at the point I'm recording this, I've only been to 2 stores. I'm going to go to 1 more, Unraveled, tomorrow. So I wanted to show the haul I got so far. Of course, most of my stuff was from ArkansasYarnCo because I was there for a day and a half. So, first of all, I picked up 2 of the mint condition kid mohair. I got this because I realized I have a lot of blue and green single skeins or like 2 skeins together, and if I wanted to make a t-shirt or garment, I could either make this with and kind of like marl situation, or make a rocket tee and stripe it with my other things. So this kind of goes with a lot of colors I have that would be good. All right, next thing I bought was 2 skeins of this color. This is Pavement Bubblegum. I love this shade of pink. And this is in the Yummy DK base. I will put in a picture, the Anne of Green Gables hat. That's what I'm planning on making right now, which takes 2 skeins of DK. It's basically Sarah Shira, who makes it's Imagined Landscapes. She makes all the cute little gnome patterns. She basically made like one of those really long sleeping hats that like the gnomes sometimes wear, but for our size. So I just love this colorway, and that's what I'm planning on doing with it. Next thing, I only got 1 of this. I love this color. I don't know what it's going to be. This is Zombie in a Tutu, and this is Sparkle Base. Yummy Sparkle. She has quite a bit of this in the shop that I saw. I just love it. It's kind of like a dirty pink and lavender gray colorway. That one, I don't know, but I just knew I wanted a skein. Maybe if I get back into socks, or maybe a cute Musselburgh. And then Lori, as of this week, started carrying Suburban Stitcher yarn, which I have used that yarn before and love it. I was eyeing this color online when I was looking Thursday, and I'm like, okay, I wonder if it's really that bright in person. I'm going to wait, because some of these purchases I actually made Thursday before I even went to the crawl and picked them up. But here it is, hoping that that is accurate. It's I feel like it looks more pink on the camera. It's a very bright coral. It's Electric colorway by Suburban Stitcher. And I got it, all Lori is carrying, I think, is the sock base, which is 75-25 base. And again, I don't know what this will become, but I got 2 skeins because it definitely, like I said, I don't want a lot of single skeins. So it definitely will go into a garment of some type, but this color is fantastic. All right. And then a couple of the special goodies that Lori got for the crawl. This is just a little notions pouch. She had postcards made of this also. Just so cute. And then, if you're familiar with 3 by the Sea, Lori had her make a special set of Progress Keepers. And I saw this quite a while ago, and I've been eyeing it and knew I needed one for the crawl. So that one's super cute. And then, not as exciting, but I picked up a couple of the Cocoa Knits claws. I'm trying to design a shawl right now, and one end is very curling up. So I got these kind of thinking that in mind. So, and then I got this little cutie sticker. I've never been to heaven, but I've been to ArkansasYarnCo. And that is my ArkansasYarnCo haul. So actually the first place I stopped on the yarn crawl was Knit Unto Others, which is in Arkadelphia. And I pretty much knew what I was getting there. Previously, I have showed you guys the drop spindle I got, and I'm trying to figure out. And the girls at the yarn crawl helped me, and I think I have figured it out. So I had talked to the owner at Knit Unto Others and asked if she had fiber, and she said she had a little bit. So I knew I wanted to go there first, and this is actually what I'm most excited of all my purchases. So I got fiber. She only had 3 of these, so I bought 2 of them. Because I'm still using my little bit I got with the spindle for practice, because you can see that that is just a hot mess, and I'm probably not going to knit with it. It's literally just like a teaching tool. But this is gorgeous, and I definitely want to be able to knit something with it after the fact. And the Christy, who was at the yarn crawl, and she was helping me the most with the drop spindle. Christy had said that for a beginner, that BFL fabric was really the best to use because it was more grabby. So as you're learning, it's a lot easier. So these are both BFLs, and I am so excited. I want to like rip into it immediately, but I'm going to work through the rest of that beginner to make sure I really got the feel of it before I get into this next. So stay tuned to see how these come up. I'm really excited about that. And that is all I bought so far. All right, and we're back. So that was all of my acquisitions. We just have the podcast of the week and my top 3 next. So the podcast of the week, and I hope I haven't mentioned this one before, but if not, that's okay. So the podcast of the week this week is Skein Scoop on YouTube. It is Lori and Justine. Lori is an owner of the Skein Scoop yarn shop, and they are in Rhode Island, and they are super cute. So I know Kristen from We Share Needles has been to the Skein Scoop before, which she was on a trip. So Lori and Justine are super cute, so definitely check out their podcast. All right, so the last thing we have today is the top 3. So my top 3 is pretty self-explanatory after coming through the Arkansas Yarn Crawl and having an amazing time. I was thinking of, what is so beneficial about going to a yarn event? And this could really be, a yarn crawl or like local yarn shop day a yarn festival, whether it's a small localized one or Rhinebeck like people like to go to in New York, why do you feel like you would need to go to that? So I broke it down to 3 basic things that I think are beneficial for going to a yarn event. The third thing is exclusive goodies. As you saw at the ArkansasYarnCo, Lori had some goodies specially made that you're not going to be able to get afterward. Do you need them? Definitely not. But are they nice to have, especially as, you know, memories of your trip? I know last year at the Yarn Crawl I got a special coffee mug, and it says ArkansasYarnCo. You've probably seen it in my videos and on my Instagram. And every time I use it, I think of the Yarn Crawl, and it just brings me a happy memory. So the second thing is learning. And even though at the Yarn Crawl you're sitting around visiting a lot, there's a lot of learning whether you realize it or not. Sometimes when you're looking back, you're like, oh yeah, that was a really good tip. Especially when I mentioned before on a different podcast about the benefits of a good yarn shop, is that it gives a community vibe. It has women and men there that aren't about competition. They don't look at you as competition for business or knitting or followers or, you know, anything like that. They look at it as a community. So they're there to help you. They're there to encourage you. They're there to tell you that you can do it and give you ideas for how to do it, which I think is the best feeling. Because as someone who's just started podcasting this year and trying to build a following and trying to understand how this really works, and the fact that I have creators that have done this longer than me willing to help me and not view me as that I'm trying to take their followers or take their business or anything like that is amazing to me. So you always find small nuggets of information when you're meeting these people at these events that you look back on and realize it afterward. And of course, number one to go into that is the yarn friends. Again, building a community, it's not just about who you know to say that, oh, I know, you know, so-and-so from that podcast or that store owner or that dyer. I mean, that's cool. But really, truly knowing them on a level where when they post something that you can respond and you call them your friend. Like, I feel like I made new friends last weekend at the Yarn Crawl that now I have a connection with. And that is priceless, really. When it comes to someone, especially that shares your hobby, where I know talking to like Nikki, who was there, of Avery Lane Creations, or, you know, and Christy, who I met from Springfield, Illinois, where I used to live, came all the way down to the Yarn Crawl, and that don't have other makers that they get to sit and knit with. And like, this was such a huge thing. And that's crazy to me. Now that I have found that, I would never want to give that up. So I just want to give a little shout out to my new friends. So I mentioned Nikki, Avery Lane Creations, and I have linked, I've linked everyone's Instagram below. So the people that are dyers or have shops, you can go to their profile on Instagram and find their shops. But I've linked all their Instagrams. Sydney, who is Sydney Fowler Creations. She made beautiful glass jewelry that was there. Brittany from Loop and Bee. Whitney from Adventures with Whitney. And then I mentioned Christy. And she, I found out, was friends with Lori. And it's from where I used to live. So that was super cool. And Christy taught Portuguese knitting classes at the Yarn Crawl. So I want to say hello to my new friends if you're watching this. it was the best time, and it was just so much fun and just good feelings all around. So definitely, if you haven't and you're questioning it, and even if you have a hard time with a lot of people, like this was, you know, a yarn shop event might be the way to start something like this, where it's an event where someone has a trunk show maybe, where there's more people coming in than usual, just to get your feet wet. And then pick out a small festival or something like that. I would definitely recommend it, and I don't think you'll regret it. So that is all for this episode. I thank you so much for watching it, sticking out to the end. I'm so sorry about the lighting issues. I'm just working with what I got. I just thought I had the time while I was here, so I wanted to try to podcast while I had the time, and I had all my stuff here. So I hope you're all doing well and taking care of each other. And next week I'll be filming with Lori, Sock Yarn Society unboxing, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.